Hello everyone! A new year means more speculation about Sonic. I know, right? So there are rumors that a Sonic Heroes remake is in development and it could release this year, so I'm here to talk about it. Without further ado, let's begin. I have tons of nostalgia and appreciation for Heroes. Couldn't play it much as a kid because it was sadly lost in the sands of time. However, what I love about Heroes is how charming it is. The tone is a slight departure from the adventure games where instead of it being dark and gripping stories that deal with pain and loss, Heroes is much more lighthearted and is simply about teamwork, with a cool mystery that is based around the return of Metal Sonic. Heroes is one of those games that just wants to be pure cheese and fun, although it has one of my favorite lines in the series, such as
Alright, Eggman, let's get this party started.
And
You actually thought you could defeat me by transforming into a monster?
oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Also, can't forget
Who's this broad?
the fact that the direct translation still gets me. They know they had comedy to go with that one. Also, Heroes is up there with Sonic CD as one of my favorite aesthetics or art direction in the series. I really love that Heroes embraces the zaniness of Sonic and it gave us vibrant locations. It's the closest we will ever get to a 3D classic Sonic game. With all that being said, let's talk about some things that Remake could do. First off, let's talk about some external media. A new web series is very possible, and I think a prequel story that tells us the rise of Neo Metal Sonic and how he set the plot of the game in motion will be cool. Stories details such as how he frames Sonic kidnapping Chocola and Froggy, or him dethroning Eggman would be awesome to see alongside showing Metal's insecurities on not being the real Sonic and being denial of that. Having it animated in the same style as Shadow Dark Beginnings or Frontiers Divergence would be really cool. Let's talk about graphics or art direction. I don't want the remake to look like Frontiers. It's not that I hate how that game or any other modern game look, it's just that I love Heroes' very vibrant color palette and his embrace of surrealism. With that being said, if they keep that in mind when upgrading environments, then I won't mind it. For the models, I really like the original expressive plastic models they had, and I'd rather have models that replicate that than the current ones we have now. Here's an idea. I think it would be great if they had to use the current models, why not put a cel shaded filter over them? It would be a breath of fresh air, and also it would be really cool if those cel shaded models end up being used in the next mainline Sonic game. Heroes is known for being slippery, which is an issue that carries over to Shadow, so having tighter controls and physics would be definitely appreciated, especially when it comes to those dang special stages. Combat wise, you keep Heroes as is, but it wouldn't hurt to take some notes from Frontiers combat in terms of making the combat moves more kinetic and have more style to them. The one thing that does need improvement is the team fights. Don't know how you could fix that, but they definitely should have more to them. I don't really want a new open zone added to the remake because I like that Heroes is much more of a level to level type of game like the classic games. Now let's talk about something that could happen, a possible rewrite. Sonic Generations was given a rewrite, and personally I miss on that if they were to do that for Heroes. See, Generations didn't really have a plot, so it makes sense to give it more substance. Heroes on the other hand has a solid story, although there are some minor things that do stick out to me. The team fights. Why the heck are we fighting? Heroes is notoriously the first Sonic game that will start a trend in the late 2000s where everyone fights each other for the sake of it. The adventure games had justifiable reasons for other characters fighting one another, but here I'm just screaming,
Hey Einstein, I'm on your side!
maybe something is lost over me, and I don't mind them fighting, especially the Chaotix since it's their first time meeting Amy, considering IDW doesn't retcon that, and Team Dark. I get Heroes is a mystery because of Metal Sonic pulling the strings, but I feel like the interaction between these three teams, excluding Chaotix because they are goated, should add more reasoning to their fighting. Like Team Rose accuses Team Sonic of stealing Chocola and Froggy in the original game. That should be the focal point rather than Amy forcing Sonic to marry her. I'm just saying, give them a better reason to fight. Another thing is the level order of these teams. In the original, every team goes through the same levels in the same order. Seaside Hill, Grand Metropolis, Casino Park, Rail Canyon, Frog Forest, Hen Castle, and Egg Fleet. The only notable difference is that the teams are based around difficulty settings, Team Rose being the easiest and Team Dark being the hardest. There's nothing wrong with that, but I wouldn't mind if the remake makes the level order different for each team as long as Egg Fleet is to the last level of each campaign. It would be nice to see Team Chaos start at Grand Metropolis first, and Team Dark at Frog Forest for example. It would give the story in the games much more variety in my opinion as the mystery unfolds at different intervals. Just a thought. I would love a remastered soundtrack as long as we can toggle on the original soundtrack. With talks of a rewrite, that leaves the voice act. Should Sega get the majority of original voice actors from the OG game to reprise their roles, or should they stick with the voice cast they have now? I'm 50-50. I would love to hear the original Dreamcast, or at least the ones that are able to have one last hurrah, but honestly, I would be fine if they let the modern voice cast have a go at it. To me, I just want the directing if they go with the latter to not imitate how the Dreamcast actors sound in the original game. However, I will be the one to say that if the game does not have a rewrite, I would prefer a archival recordings of the original voice cast members to stay intact. That's what I love to see in a Heroes remake. Pretty short, but tell me what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Seaside Hill was the level that gets reused a lot in the 2000s. It was Green Hill before Green Hill. Ain't that ironic?